The encounter started on an ordinary evening, the kind where the sky was an endless canvas of dark blue and stars twinkled faintly beyond the city lights. I was sitting in my living room, scrolling absent-mindedly through my phone, when a strange noise echoed from the basement, a soft, almost melodic humming that didn't belong to anything I knew. Curiosity got the better of me. Taking a deep breath, I stepped toward the basement door. The old wooden stairs creaked beneath my feet as I descended, each step amplifying the eerie silence around me. Then I saw her. She stood in the dim light, unlike anything I'd ever seen before. An alien girl with wide, luminous eyes that seemed to glow faintly in the shadowy basement. Her skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence, reflecting colors that changed with every slight movement, like an oil slick catching the light. Her hair cascaded in silver waves down her back, and she wore a simple white dress that fluttered gently, though there was no breeze. I froze, my heart pounding. How did she get here? Why was she in my basement? Before I could say a word, she looked up at me and smiled. A smile so soft and disarming, it made me lower my guard despite the fear tightening my chest. "I've been waiting," she whispered. "Waiting. For me," my voice trembled. What are you?" She took a step forward, and I could see the faint pulse of energy radiating from her fingertips, like tiny stars caught in her skin. "I am called Lyra," she said simply. "And you are the one I need." My thoughts raced. Was this a hallucination? A dream? The kind of story you read about in sci-fi novels but never expect to live? Before I could gather myself, the basement door creaked open behind me and my mom stepped in, her face pale and eyes wide with shock. What is this?" she gasped, staring at Lyra as if seeing a ghost. Lyra's gaze flicked to my mom briefly, then back to me. "She's not what she seems," I said, but my voice lacked conviction. Mom took a cautious step forward, and Lyra raised a hand, stopping her as though she possessed some invisible shield. "Please," Lyra said gently, "I mean no harm, but time is short." That phrase, "time is short," sent a shiver down my spine. The next moments blurred into a whirlwind of questions and silence. Mom wanted answers. I wanted to run. But Lyra only looked at us both with a mixture of hope and desperation. Then, suddenly, she reached out and touched my mum's forehead with the back of her hand. A bright flash of light filled the basement, and Mum gasped, clutching her head as if seeing something beyond human comprehension. When the light faded, Mum's eyes were different. Distant, confused, but somehow wiser. Mom whispered, she saw something terrible. Before I could ask what, the basement door slammed shut above us, plunging us into darkness. And that's when I realized this was only the beginning, unraveling the mystery. The basement's darkness pressed in on us like a living thing, but somehow the small flicker of Lyra's glow kept the shadows at bay. My mum sat on the cold concrete floor, her hands trembling as she tried to gather herself after that strange flash of light. The look in her eyes was something I had never seen before, a mixture of fear, awe, and something else I couldn't quite place. "What did you do to her?" I demanded, my voice sharper than I intended. Lyra's eyes softened. I showed her a glimpse of the truth, a vision from my world, from the past and the future intertwined. Mum's breathing was shallow. I saw a darkness coming, something that will reach Earth, something that hunts her. Her words sent a chill down my spine. I looked at Lyra. "Why me? Why here? What do you want from us?" Lyra hesitated for a moment, then spoke quietly. "You are the key, not just to my survival, but to something much larger, a destiny that binds your kind and mine." I rubbed my temples, overwhelmed. It was too much to process. Just then, the basement door creaked open, and the warm glow from the living room. Spilled in. My dad stood in the doorway, confused and alarmed. "What's going on down here, Mom? Are you okay?" Mom looked up, her eyes glassy. "He's here, the one she's looking for." Lyra's gaze flicked to my dad. "No, not him. The one who can help us. You." My dad frowned, clearly not understanding. I shook my head. "Dad, this is complicated." That night none of us could sleep. Lyra stayed in the basement, but she seemed restless, pacing and murmuring too, herself in a language I couldn't understand. Over the next few days, strange things began to happen around the house. Electronics flickered without explanation. Strange symbols appeared on the walls, glowing faintly at night. And I started hearing a faint humming sound, like a distant song only I could hear. I tried to keep my normal life going, but the line between reality and this new alien presence blurred. One afternoon, I decided to confront Lyra. Why me? Why choose a random human? She looked at me, her eyes deep pools of light. "You carry a rare gene, one that connects our species. Without you, my people's fate is sealed." "Your people," I repeated. "What happened to them?" Lyra's face darkened. "They were betrayed, hunted to the brink of extinction by those who feared our power. I escaped to find help. As if on cue, my phone buzzed with a news alert. Reports of strange lights in the sky, unexplained disappearances in nearby towns. I swallowed hard. Whatever was coming wasn't just a story anymore. That night, my mom called me into the living room. "We need to talk," she said, her voice serious. She revealed a secret she'd kept her whole life, that she had once encountered beings from another world, that she had knowledge passed down from her ancestors about alien visitors, and that Lyra's arrival was part of a prophecy. My mind reeled. Everything I thought I knew was unraveling. Then came the cryptic warning from Lyra, a message encoded in symbols and visions, telling of an enemy closing in, one that could destroy not just her people, but Earth itself. We were running out of time. As the days passed, the tension grew. My relationship with Lyra deepened, a strange bond forming between us, fueled by desperation and something I couldn't name. But the shadows outside our home were stirring. One evening I caught a glimpse of figures moving silently in the woods. Behind the house, tall, dark shapes that vanished before I could get a clear look. Fear gripped me, but Lyra was calm, almost resigned. "They're here," she said softly. "They've found us." That night, the humming grew louder, the symbols on the walls brighter. I knew the calm was ending, the enemy was coming, and with them a battle that would change everything. The truth revealed. The air in our house felt heavier, like the calm before a storm. I couldn't shake the feeling that every shadow was watching. Every whisper in the wind was a warning. Mom sat quietly most of the day, eyes distant but alert, while Lyra stayed in the basement, pacing with restless energy. That morning, I found Lyra staring out the window, her glowing eyes focused on the distant horizon. "They're coming," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I sat beside her, searching her face for answers. "Who are they? Who's hunting you?" Lyra took a shaky breath and began to tell me a story, one that sounded like it belonged to an ancient myth but felt painfully real. My people, the Elysians, were once rulers of a distant star system. We were known for our advanced technology and deep connection to the cosmos. But with great power comes great envy. Another faction, the Drakthar, rose against us. They feared our abilities and sought to wipe us out. I listened, captivated and horrified. They hunted us like animals, destroying planets, tearing apart families. I escaped, carrying the last hope, a secret that could save both your world and mine. I swallowed hard. Why me? What's my part in this? Lyra's gaze softened. Your blood carries a rare genetic key, a link between humans and Elysians. You are the bridge that can unlock ancient powers lost to time." My mind raced. It sounded impossible, like something from a sci-fi movie. Then Mom spoke up, breaking the silence. "He's not just a random man. Our family has guarded this secret for generations. We never spoke of it until now." I turned to her, shocked. "You knew?" She nodded. "I tried to protect you, but with Lyra here, hiding is no longer an option." The weight of her words sank in. This wasn't just about aliens or some fantasy. It was my reality now. Suddenly, a sharp knock echoed through the house. All three of us froze. Lyra motioned for silence and crept to the basement window. Outside, dark figures moved silently between the trees, their forms tall and menacing. "They've found us," Lyra said grimly. "The Drakthar are here." Panic surged through me. "What do they want?" Lyra's eyes burned brighter. "To capture Idum and to take the secret I carry." That night we barricaded the doors and windows. My dad tried to stay calm, but even he looked terrified. We gathered in the living room, whispering plans and possibilities. Lyra explained that the Drakthar were not just enemies, but something far worse. Creatures capable of manipulating minds, sowing distrust and turning allies into enemies. A cold dread settled over us. Suddenly the power flickered and went out. The house plunged into darkness. Then the basement door slammed open. Lyra stepped forward, her form glowing like a beacon in the blackness. Two figures emerged from the shadows, humanoid but distorted, their eyes glowing red with malicious intent. "Lyra," one hissed, "you cannot hide forever." I stood frozen, heart pounding as the intruders moved closer, but then Mum stepped forward, surprising me. "I won't let you take her," she said firmly. The figures laughed, a sound that chilled my soul. Suddenly a bright light exploded from Lyra's hand, throwing them back. In the chaos, I realized that Mom was not just an ordinary woman. She held secrets and powers of her own. She moved with a grace and strength I had never seen, standing between us and the threat. The battle was brief but intense. The intruders vanished into the night, leaving behind a warning. This isn't over. As silence returned, I looked at my mom and Lyra with new understanding. We were no longer just survivors. We were fighters, and the war was just beginning. Secrets and sacrifices. The night after the attack, our home felt like a fortress on the edge of a war zone. Every creak, every shadow made me jump. Sleep was impossible, not just for me, but for everyone. Mom sat at the kitchen table, staring into a cup of cold tea, her face pale but resolute. Lyra stood nearby, silent but alert, her glowing form barely dimmed even in the low light. Dad was in the living room, trying to patch up the door where the intruders had forced entry. I couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. "Tell me everything," I said to Mom, my voice strained. She nodded slowly, as if preparing to reveal something she had buried for years. The Elysians and humans, our histories are connected deeper than you know. Long ago, before recorded history, your ancestors made a pact with the Elysians. A promise to protect a secret, the secret that Lyra carries. I frowned. "What secret?" Mom took a deep breath. "A genetic code hidden within certain bloodlines, like yours. It holds the power to unlock an ancient technology, something so powerful it could either save worlds or destroy them." Lyra's voice interrupted, calm but urgent. "The Drakthar want that technology. They want to control it to rule not just their system, but the entire galaxy. So that's why they're after you," I said, the pieces clicking together. "But why come to Earth? Why now?" Lyra's eyes darkened. "Because the key is here, on your planet, in your blood." I looked down at my hands, suddenly feeling very small. Mom leaned forward. "That's why I never told you before, to keep you safe." But now there's no turning back. The weight of her words pressed down on me like a mountain. Suddenly, my phone buzzed with a message. I grabbed it with shaking hands. It was an encrypted text from an unknown number. "You don't know us yet, but we can help. Meet us if you want to survive." I showed the message to Mom and Lyra. Mom's face tightened. "It could be a trap," Lyra nodded. "Or an ally." We debated for hours. Who could we trust? The world outside seemed normal, but I knew better. Danger lurked in every corner. The next day, we decided I should meet whoever sent the message, cautiously. I took my phone, my heart pounding, and left the house. The streets were busy, but I felt exposed, vulnerable. Following the instructions, I arrived at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. The air smelled of rust and dust. Inside, a figure stepped forward, tall, cloaked in shadows, but with eyes that glinted like stars. "I am Kellen," he said quietly. "I'm part of a group fighting the Drakthar. We want to protect your world and Lyra." I studied him, wary but desperate. "Why should I trust you?" He smiled faintly. "Because we share a common enemy, and because your survival depends on joining us." Kellen explained that the Drakthar's reach was far greater than we imagined. They had spies and agents on Earth, infiltrating governments, corporations, anywhere with power. "They've already begun," he warned. "They want the technology Lyra carries, and they will stop at nothing to get it." I felt overwhelmed, but knew I had no choice. When I returned home, I shared everything with Mom and Lyra. "We need to prepare," Lyra said. "The Drakthar will come again, stronger." Days passed in a blur of training, planning, and gathering supplies. I learned about my latent abilities, strange sensations, flashes of insight, bursts of strength I never knew I had. Mom revealed more of her past, how she had once fought alongside the Elysians, how she had hidden from the Drakthar for decades, always waiting for the right moment. One night, while practicing controlling my newfound powers, Lyra pulled me aside. "There's something you need to understand," she said, her voice soft but serious. "This gift you have, it's also a curse. It will bind you to this battle for life, and there will be sacrifices." I looked into her glowing eyes, seeing the weight she carried. "What kind of sacrifices?" She hesitated. "Those we love may be in danger, and you may have to choose between saving yourself or saving others." The thought crushed me, but before I could ask more, an explosion rocked the neighborhood. We rushed outside to see smoke rising in the distance. Lights flickered everywhere. The Drakthar had begun their assault. Sirens wailed, people screamed, and chaos erupted. I grabbed Lyra's hand, feeling the energy pulsing between us. "We have to stop this," I said, determination burning in my chest. Mom nodded, eyes fierce. "This is just the beginning." As the sky darkened with unknown ships descending, I realized the true battle for Earth had begun, and there was no turning back. The battle for Earth. The city was chaos. Sirens blared, fires raged, and the sky burned with the glow of unknown ships. The Drakthar had come, and they were ruthless. I stood beside Mom and Lyra on the rooftop of our house, watching the invasion unfold. The horizon was no longer the calm, familiar line I had always known. It was a battlefield. Lyra's glowing eyes scanned the sky. "They've come for the technology. For me," Mom gripped my shoulder, "and for you. Your blood is the key." The truth hit me harder than any blow. I wasn't just a bystander. I was the center of this war. Kellen arrived with a small group of fighters. They were armed with strange weapons that hummed with energy. "We've been tracking their movements," Kellen said grimly. "They're targeting communication hubs first. They want to isolate us." The plan was clear. We had to disrupt their control, protect the key locations, and most importantly, keep Lyra safe. The night descended, and so did the battle. We moved through the city like ghosts, dodging patrols, sabotaging Drakthar technology, and fighting off relentless waves of alien soldiers. In the chaos, I discovered the depths of my powers. Energy burst from my hands, heightened senses, and strength that felt otherworldly. But with each use, exhaustion followed, reminding me of my human limits. We reached the central communications tower, our last hope to send a distress signal to Earth's military. Suddenly, the ground shook. From the shadows emerged a monstrous Drakthar commander, massive, armored, eyes blazing red. "This is the one," it growled, pointing at me. "The key to our victory." A fierce battle erupted. Mom and Lyra fought alongside me, their combined powers lighting up the dark night. Blasts of energy collided with brutal force, shaking the very earth beneath us. At one point, the commander grabbed me, its grip crushing. Pain exploded through my body, but I focused on Lyra's eyes. Her strength gave me courage. Summoning every ounce of power, I broke free and unleashed a blinding blast that sent the commander staggering. Kellen's team rushed in, overwhelming the creature with coordinated strikes until it finally fell. But victory came at a cost. Kellen was gravely injured, and several fighters lay wounded. We barely had time to catch our breath before more Drakthar troops swarmed in. Back at the safe house, Lyra tended to Kellen's wounds, while Mom and I prepared for what was next. "Tomorrow," Mom said, her voice steady, "we strike at their home base. The Drakthar's strength lies there. Destroy it, and we cripple their invasion." Lyra nodded. "But it won't be easy. They've fortified the planet with traps and dark technology." I looked at them both, feeling the weight of the coming mission. "We have to do it," I said. "For Earth. For everyone." That night I lay awake, haunted by the faces of those we lost and the uncertainty of what was to come. But deep inside, a fire burned, a fierce determination to fight, to protect, and to finally end the nightmare. Because if I failed, everything I loved would be lost. The final stand-on broke with a heavy silence. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what was to come. Our team gathered around a holographic map in the dim light of the safe house. The Drakthar home base, deep underground in a remote, uncharted region, was heavily fortified. But it was our only chance. Mom looked at me, her eyes filled with a mix of pride and worry. "This mission isn't just about survival. It's about ending the cycle. You carry the key, but you're more than that. You're human, and that makes all the difference." Lyra's glow brightened. "The technology hidden in your blood can disable their core defenses, but it has to be synchronized with me. We'll need perfect timing." Kellen, though weakened, nodded firmly. "We strike fast, hit hard, and leave nothing behind." The journey to the Drakthar stronghold was perilous. We moved under the cover of darkness, evading patrols and overcoming deadly traps. Every step forward was a test of endurance, courage, and trust. As we entered the core chamber, the air thickened with oppressive energy. The Drakthar warlord awaited us, towering, scarred, and more terrifying than ever. "You think you can destroy us?" he snarled. "Your kind is weak. This galaxy will be ours." But I felt something stronger. Now, something born from human spirit and alien strength combined. Lyra linked her energy with mine. The pulse of power surged through me, resonating deep within my blood. With a roar, I unleashed the hidden technology, waves of energy that disrupted the warlord's armor and shattered his weapons. The battle was fierce, but united. We overwhelmed him. When he finally fell, the Drakthar defenses began to collapse. Outside, the invading ships retreated, and the skies cleared for the first time in days. We had won. Back on Earth, life slowly began to return to normal, though nothing would ever be the same. Mom hugged me tightly. "You saved us all." Lyra smiled, a soft glow lighting her face. Together we changed the fate of two worlds. As the sun set on the horizon, I realized that this was just the beginning. A new chapter where humans and aliens could coexist, learn, and grow stronger. The secret in my blood was no longer a curse, it was a promise of hope, and no matter what came next, we would face it together. The end.